Good morning, sir. The train was almost 18 minutes late, sir. I came at once to report to you. That is, I took the first available opportunity on leaving the station to make my way here in order to present myself. In short, sir, I came directly. And this time, sir, I hope you'll be satisfied with my work, and trust that, in howsoever small a degree, you may be pleased with what has, I believe, to some extent been accomplished. That is to say, I have called personally at all the centers you have been good enough to assign to me. Now, obviously, sir, and I hope you will not for a moment think it forward of me to suggest it to someone with such considerable experience as yourself, sir, one cannot expect orders to be placed all of a sudden. But I must hasten to add, and you must rest assured on this point, that the name of the firm has on every occasion been adequately introduced. As you well know, sir, and it is a point that you yourself have always stressed, it is most important when displaying our articles to give the impression of the greatest seriousness. On your last point, I should like to remark, sir, that the real consequences of my journey cannot yet be judged by the practical results already obtained. The main purpose of the expedition, according to your own direction, sir, was that of introducing the firm's name into several new fields of marketing activity previously unexploited. Before I left, sir, I felt that you perhaps regarded me as of unsuitable years to represent such a highly respectable and long-established concern as the one to which you, sir, have given your name. And I, if only as apprentice salesman, am so honored to belong. But to get back to your point, sir, I have good reason to believe that our new and potential customers have been pleasantly impressed by my approach to them. Your esteem is therefore most important to me, and I humbly trust, sir, that you will continue to exercise your consideration in my favor. When I return from my journeys, my mother and father and sister are more than happy to know that I have accomplished my task in a satisfactory way, and that consequently my position in your firm is, if I may so venture to hope, continually becoming more secure. For it is only thus that we may look forward to the prospect of a better future, to some guarantee of security, and finally to a respite from our domestic problems. For my father has now had to give up his work, though my sister has still to complete her violin studies. And it is and always has been our brightest dream to see her at the conservatory. A dream, I may say, that could and perhaps will come true, if you, sir, can see your way.
Gregory! 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 Gregory, it's very late. Gregory, you'll miss the train. Why aren't you up?
sir, pointed out to me one day, remarking that it belonged to a group that were in competition to ourselves. Although I should prefer to consider the whole matter coincidence, it is difficult to do so in face of the fact that when I went to see these particular customers at an hour rather later than the usual, a delay only occasioned by the greater number that there were to call upon, I found reason to believe that these men had taken advantage of this opportunity and had already anticipated my arrival. It is a possibility that I am afraid I cannot discard, however much one takes into account the great sympathy that customers have shown both towards myself and to our firm. For this apprehension is entirely in contradiction to the gestures of friendship I have encountered. When I enter a shop, I find that I never have time to greet anyone before I myself am received with warm expressions of welcome from the owner, who as I come through the door is already speaking to me from behind some bundles of material or from some corner of the shop that is at that moment obscure. I believe that sales have also shown a decrease in the shops that we supply. An international crisis cannot be without influence, even on such a small market as ours. How much larger, then, will be its effect upon the bigger market? I am certain that you, sir, will understand the nature of my efforts, for there is no one better than you so thoroughly acquainted with this arduous work to see these problems in the light of informed experience. On the other hand, I find myself in a position of responsibility greater than the one to which I was originally assigned, that I am holding a post which demands a higher standard than my professional qualifications had previously entitled me to. It is for this reason that I hope you may consider the possibility of my advancement. Of course, not necessarily at the present time, but entirely at your own convenience, sir. In fact, only when you consider it the most opportune moment. You know that I am always at your disposal, sir, for any particularly unusual or difficult task that might arise during the future course of business. And at the present, I can assure you that my desire to comply with your orders to the best of my ability is only exceeded by the hope that there may be even greater opportunities to prove myself a worthier and more able servant. Your esteem is therefore most important to me, and I humbly trust, sir, that you will continue to exercise your consideration in my favor. When I return from my journeys, my mother and father and sister are more than happy to know that I have accomplished my task in a satisfactory way, and that consequently my position in your firm is, if I may so venture to hope, continually becoming more secure. For it is only thus that we may look forward to the prospect of a better future, to some guarantee of security, and finally to a respite from our domestic problems. For my father has now had to give up his work, though my sister has still to complete her violin studies, and it is and always has been our brightest dream to see her at the conservatory. Are you listening, sir? Are you listening, sir? Are you listening, sir? Sir, do you hear me? Sir, are you listening, sir? The regular lines from our factory. The material is of a type produced by a special process. If you'd be so good as to examine it in the light, I think you may get an idea of the richness of the tissue. Last week, one of our customers ordered 40 dozen lengths of this material for the exportation market. On the other hand, if you should need a heavier material, this one is particularly suitable for cutting into scarves, etc. Of course, you might prefer something like this with interwoven silk thread. Or if you have a particularly pattern of your own in mind, it could be made to order in our factory at very short notice, and I am confident that you would be met with full satisfaction, as our firm has a well-established reputation for fast and efficient work. To give you a final idea of the possibilities open to our branch of manufacture, I'd like to show you this sample of a rare silk weave. You can see it as a first-class article. Commissions for this item are already coming in from many of the highest-class buyers in the capital. I hope that you, sir, will be able to make your choice from amongst the materials I have shown you. Do you like this, sir? Do you like this, sir? Do you like this, sir? If these particular samples do not comply with your wishes, it will be a pleasure for me to return with additional items from the large variety we have in stock. For you will appreciate, sir, that what I am displaying to you now is a general selection of our output. So you can no doubt realize how wide the choice is that is open to you. I must add that our designs are